Hi, I'm Dan Fazio, and I'm here with Chris Ann Phillips. She is our very first Pittsburgh Veteran of the Year. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for joining us today. First, congratulations on this honor. Now that you've had a little bit of time to reflect on it, what are you thinking? How does it feel?
So it feels pretty good, right? It is also so it was very humbling, right? And just such an honor. And you realize that there's responsibilities with it, right? That you have a city and a region, and you have how do I say it? It's like somebody flipped the lights on, right? And so now you got to roll up your sleeves, and the things that you thought you wanted to do, you got to get busy and start to get them done, right? And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with an award like this, right? And I hope those that come after me I'm going to challenge them to keep up with the old lady, right? So we'll
Yeah.
go from there.
Hopefully, you'll have really big shoes to fill. So, oh, fantastic. So we just wanted to share your story with our audience, and so let's start with obviously this is a veteran award, and you are a Marine veteran. So let's start there. Where and when did you serve? What was your MOS?
So we were just laughing about this the other day because I joined the Marine Corps 42 years ago,
42 years.
a long time.
Yeah.
Um, I served on active duty. I was on the air wing side of the Marine Corps, so I had was started off, of course, at Paris Island, and then was NAS Jacksonville, NAS Memphis, and then went out to Marine Corps Station Yuma, and then finished my second tour of duty in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. So
Wow.
I worked on the flight line as a mechanic, diesel, gasoline, and hydraulics. And it just kind of really set me up for my next career when I got out of the Marine Corps.
Okay. Well, what do you believe the Marine Corps made you a better person? I mean, what did you take away from the military that has perhaps benefited you ever since?
So for me, I don't know if it's any different, right, than what those of us take away when you leave, your love of country, of course, and that the love of that flag and what it stands for. But for me, I had the most amazing senior drill instructor. Now, 42 years ago, so we're gonna test my memory, but Staff Sergeant Gwendolyn Moore, right? And then Lieutenant Salinas, who went on to be a general, of course, or my series commanders. And I learned from them. I was very, very young when I joined the Marine Corps, and I learned from them that it's an amazing thing to be a woman, and it's an even more amazing thing to be a woman and be called to serve your country. And you take that with you when you leave. Being a Marine is something you will always be. You know what they say, once a Marine, always a Marine, right? And people don't understand that that's true. To this day, it is so much part of who I am. What I learned at a very young age that I took into the Marine Corps, but also what I learned from the Marine Corps and moved forward as a mom, even as a grandma, right? Some of those characteristics and traits, my granddaughters will even tell you, my grandma was a Marine, right? So
That's
it
pretty
never
cool.
goes away.
That's
Yeah,
a
it never
bumper
goes away.
sticker you don't see too many.
I'm sorry?
There's a bumper sticker you don't see too often.
No, no.
My grandma was Marine. Fantastic. Well, so when you got out of the Corps, what was your exit plan?
I didn't really have one, right? Because I was a single mom, right? And came out of the Marine Corps and was very blessed to go to work for Chrysler. Having a mechanics background, being in the Marine Corps, having a sales background before I went into the Marine Corps, I was very blessed to go to work for Chrysler and was with them for about 10 and a half years, and learned an awful lot about being young and being in business, being in the business community. And I can honestly tell you that the discipline and that drive for success that you learn in the Marine Corps, there was no quitting halfway. There was no stopping. You had to complete the task or the mission. is what helped get me through that next, that next stage. Went back to work for the federal government for a while. And then I was very, like I said, I've had a great eclectic foundation of careers. I had my own business for quite a while. And then, as everybody knows, I landed at PNC Bank and was just, wow, what a ride. Just a phenomenal company that does great things, right? And so I might be a little biased, still drink the Kool-Aid, but they're definitely a wonderful organization.
Talk about that a little bit. What did you do for PNC?
So when I was with PNC Bank, I helped set up the military recruiting program. 10 years ago, things were just really kind of gearing up, right? Hiring a veteran, and not just because it was the right thing to do to give back as a company, but what was the business sense, right? Why did it make good business sense for an employer to reach out to a veteran whose resume looks completely different than any other resume you're going to see in any other diverse segment? Why did it make sense to sit down and have a conversation with them? And I think probably one of the quickest ways I can describe that is, there's a company here in Pittsburgh that asked me to look at a resume, and sending it to them with a job description, they were kind of amazed at the roles that this individual could serve in their company as an explosive ordnance officer. They make great business analysts, right? Because anybody that can analyze data in a foreign country, in a foreign language, in a hostile environment, can analyze any data you throw at them any day of the week. And I think that getting corporate America to understand that, but also getting the veteran to learn how to communicate was really, really important. And then I left diversity recruiting and became the military affairs liaison for the enterprise. And so if you haven't heard of the Mutt Strut yet in Pittsburgh, that we just completed the 7th year of the Mutt Strut, which was probably one of the largest military initiatives at PNC. Ending veteran suicide is my life's work. And so we've got to find some solutions that work, and service dogs work service dogs work, right? So there's a lot of different organizations out there that that train service dogs. You need to make sure that those dogs are adequately trained. Medically trained service dogs, there's a big difference between them and therapy dogs and companion dogs and those kind of type things. But I have seen firsthand that they work. And so the mission continues, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Where along that journey path did you, I guess, what inspired you to start working to be a veterans advocate, and what points, obviously when you went to work for PNC, you stood up a military recruiting program, but just wondering what was that catalyst that kind of really kind of sets your involvement in motion? And it's just really grown like a tidal wave over the years, but where did that start and why?
So I come from a military family, not my parents, but the generations before them. And so there has always been that call to serve, right? And a lot of people think a call to serve, Dan, but you've got to find that niche that works for you. You've got to find whatever. You can't do it all, right? Contrary to what everybody will tell you, you can't serve everyone. And so what you need to do is you need to find what you're the most passionate about and step up to bat, right? And so for me, I come from a family of veterans. Like I said, not my parents, but the generations before. My aunt was head of the Army Nurse Corps. My Uncle Bobby was shot down during World War II. So do you know what I mean? Like we go way back. And going through my aunt's things when she passed years ago, in the bottom of a box was this old plastic like certificate holder, and nobody even knew it was there. And we're going through her things, and in the certificate holder was her Legion of Merit. And I realized that this quiet, unassuming, amazing woman that I look up to my whole life, right? The whole side of her, that I knew she was in the military, but we didn't know how much. And so those things were, I think, inspired me a little bit more, right? To really kind of pick that up and carry that legacy forward for my family. So,
Well, you've certainly been involved in a lot of initiatives and a lot of projects as a veterans advocate, and more than we have time to cover here in this brief interview. But what are some of the highlights for you? What projects and initiatives have meant the most to you?
so of course, so we laugh, right? We say horses, hounds, and hockey, right? So let's go in reverse. So just, yeah, we're gonna put it out there. So let's start with hockey. So I sit on the board of directors for Pittsburgh Warrior Hockey, and they are a team of combat wounded veterans that, play other teams from around the country. We're actually getting ready to host our first Defenders Cup tournament here in Pittsburgh in mid-March. And um, I say over and over again how blessed I am. And I am blessed because I get to really sit down and have relationships with players and their families who have become friends and, family of my own, because they're important and they matter. And warrior hockey, it's more than hockey, right? This is healing through hockey, and it's a mechanism to give those individuals the camaraderie in the locker room and those kind of type things that they need to share with those that have similar experiences. And so I get to be part of this organization and get challenged every day to help move them forward. Next, of course, is the service dog industry. I am very passionate about service dogs. I believe that service dogs are one of the most viable answers to end veteran suicide. I believe it so much that I was with an organization with Guardian Angels for a year after working, them being a primary focus when I was with PNC Bank. But service dogs are the answer. And there's a lot of wonderful service dog organizations out there that we need to create this groundswell of awareness. We're still losing in excess of 22 veterans a day to suicide. And Dan, they've been talking about that number for 10 years, and it's not changing. If anything, it's getting worse instead of getting better. So instead of us falling behind the 8 ball, I believe, right, and that we need to figure out a way to come together. And our mission is to save lives, period. That's the mission, save lives. And we've got to figure out how to get service dogs in the hands of our veterans that need them the most. And so that's a really, you've known me for quite a while. That's a really big passion point of mine. And then and there's, like I said, there's Guardian Angels, there's other new organizations. There's a new 501c3 popping up here in Pittsburgh. So much new, it's Gunny's Ridge. And what an amazing group of individuals. And so I've recently become involved with them. And then, of course, last but not least is the equine therapy. I don't think that people realize just how important horses are. And that these big gentle giants, right, can really, they do wonders. It's not only the care of the animal, right, but it's what the animal can do for you. There's a lot of power and a lot of instinctual actions that a horse can take. So I'm really excited. I was introduced to that by a mutual friend of ours, of course. And so I am really, really passionate about the veteran space and about ending veteran suicide. We've got to come up with some answers. We're still losing too many of our brothers and sisters to suicide because they don't know where to go. They don't know who to talk to. And so we've got to figure out where the missing link is.
Definitely sensing an animal theme there, hounds and horses.
Yeah, exactly. Hounds and horses. Yeah. And hockey. Yeah.
They do certainly have that common theme of healing, the healing properties that they can offer to veterans. So.
Right.
Fantastic. Well, you recently resigned as the Chief Administrative Officer for Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs. What now? What are you doing now?
So I don't know how I ever had time to work. But anyway, so right now I'm doing an awful lot of consulting in those spaces that we just talked about, which is wonderful, right? So having been in this space for 20 some years, and answering the phone and actually being able to sit down with individuals that have questions about how to move their organizations forward. What are the stumbling blocks? Like, what are they? And what's wonderful is that when they're serious about learning how to move forward, they're open to have those tough discussions, right? And I've always been a very positive reinforcement leader. I just think that it's the best way to get results, right? Not to micromanage, but to give them their mission and turn them loose and let them learn and to grow. And so for right now, I'm doing an awful lot of consulting work in the veteran space, not only in those 3 areas that we talked about, but some other sports related, some other community related. And so I'm enjoying this time right at the moment, doing that kind of work and staying really focused in the veteran community.
Fantastic. Well, you definitely will be big shoes to fill for the next Pittsburgh Veteran of the Year. Congratulations, it couldn't be more deserved to you. And I'll just leave it with, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Just that, and I said this to you and to Chris at the very beginning, whenever I found out that, this is an award of service, right? And that with it comes the responsibility to stand on your soapbox and to make sure that people understand about our veteran community. And, with the uncertainty in our world today, right, we need to be even more diligent than ever. And like I said, as long as there is one veteran that needs to be served, or a veteran in crisis, I'll continue to serve. And I am humbled and very honored, right, to be able to have this opportunity to have a voice for Pittsburgh in the veteran community and to be able to carry the message forward. So thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We're so appreciative of that. And this will definitely not be goodbye. We'll be definitely be in touch.
I will be in touch again, I'm sure. Thank you and have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.